to another edition of the AsIs podcast. Your boy is back. Today's podcast is going to be a refresher, something to take you down memory lane. And in addition, we are going to cover the hot topic with a few more sources of information. But before I get into that, I want to get into hopefully that this podcast puts a smile on your face. Hopefully this podcast finds you in the best mental, spiritual, and physical health. Hopefully this podcast gives you something to ride to, something to think about. It's been a minute since I've been on here and talking to the people, and I missed you. It ain't like we having these talk conversations. But you know, when I get a chance to say what I need to say, and I see the responses, I see the rebuttals, I see the disses, I see it all. It kind of makes you feel like you're actually having a conversation with some people. At least the intelligent ones. And even for those who aren't as intelligent as most, I still fuck with you. Because you gotta remember, as always, I represent my people. With that being said, let me just tell you a few things that was going on in my absence. Been working on other projects, as always. Been home for a minute. NYC. You know they had to see me. You know my arrogance says I'm the cream of the crop. Don't matter where we at. Be it LA, Atlanta, Chicago, New York. Wherever these Tims touch, they touch the people. Believe that. With that being said, yo, I had the opportunity to do a film festival. I was an invited guest to watch a premiere of Nas's The Supreme Team. So we packed up and we went down there to check that out. In addition, I made another few power moves for those who don't know. My magazine drops this week. And of course, that's BMF. And speaking of BMF, just to give you a refresher and an update, I was told by one of the producers that we are still scheduled, and we were scheduled to come on TV this month. But they're currently in production filming BMF Season 2. From what I understand, they want the documentary to fall in line with Season 2, so it will be shown during that same time. Everybody knows by now that there's some turmoil going on over there at Stars, and you know they're transferring some things, and you know 50 has been an advocate against them, but that's politics. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't gonna get into that one. The bad thing about this business sometimes is you can create a project, and that project can get put on a shelf. And what's crazy about it is, you know, you can still get a check, but your project is put on the shelf. You know, I've always been one of those kind of artists where, although I want the money, I don't want the money without showing my creativity, the artistry of it. So I have a problem with that. Allah willing, we are going to get by that, because Season 2 is definitely being filmed and it's definitely coming out. So we just have to wait a little longer. When I have an exact release date, I will announce that. In addition to that, one of the other projects that I had something to do with, I'm actually in. And I want to explain a few things about being in this project. First of all, shout out to Ben Crump. Shout out to my man Silky Slim. This one is kind of deep. Yo, they got me in Civil, right? It's on Netflix right now, and you're going to find me. The producer of that documentary, I believe, speaks and spoke in subliminals. And why I say that is because they captured me quite a few times, but I guess those parts didn't make the cutting room floor. So when you see me, you're going to see me as they're reading the verdict or talking about the verdict, and you're going to see me in a swarm of videographers and photographers. Smack dead in the middle, you see Shabazz. And I have an iPhone in my hand, and I am filming the news conference with an iPhone. Surrounded around me are 50 cameramen, professional cameramen, what you call professional, news agencies from all over the world. But for some reason, she captured me in the essence of doing what I do without having what they have. Now, some people are going to translate that into, negativity, and some people are going to see it the way that I'm trying to explain. And the way I'm trying to explain is you never let anything, regardless to who you're around and who you are with, prevent you from doing you with what you have. Bottom line. I don't care if I got an iPhone. I don't care if I got, $100,000 broadcast camera. I am going to do my job, and I am going to do it in the face of adversity, regardless to whoever or whatever someone else thinks. And this is what I want to relay to those people. It's similar to Ben Crump, but on a lower level, because Ben Crump faced adversity. He's just a regular black man, but he has come up from the woods, literally, and he's made a difference. And he's one of the most powerful lawyers in America, and definitely the most powerful black lawyer in America. So when you see it, if you guys like that kind of stuff and you watch the documentary, I want you to think about what I'm saying. And you see little old, hood nigga ass Shabazz in the middle of 50, professional white Americans, because that's who dominates and who has those positions. And the reason why is because we do not have the necessary tools to play against them. But then again, you do. All you got to do is have the will and the desire. That's it. You got to have the I do not give a fuck attitude. You got to have that I will not lose attitude. Bottom line. The irony of me saying lose is going to take me here. And, I had that problem with Jennifer Bonjean, which wasn't really a problem. It was a problem that was interpreted as a problem amongst others. I have no problems with Jennifer. However, let me tell you my thoughts on what's going on right now with Bill Cosby. As you know, he lost his case against accused, whatever, sexual misconduct, rape, whatever it was, from a 16-year-old girl, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. How they came to that conclusion, I have no idea. But the man, they say, she won a verdict for $500,000. And I'm like, wow, how do you even prove you had sex with somebody 30 years ago? That spoke and speaks volumes to me, as it should with you. This shit is crazy. But it is definitely, it's not a good look for Jennifer. Now, y'all got these Jennifer's great things. And when I say what I say, people are going to say, oh, well, you are against Jennifer. Not at all. Not at all. Let me tell you something. If me and you are friends, right? And we could be associates, we could be allies, we could be frenemies, we could be whatever. If you're walking down the street and your bottom of your pants or the back of your pants is soiled with shit, should I not say anything to you because you're my friend? Should I let you walk down the street with shitty drawers and shitty soiled pants where everybody can see? Would you be offended if I told you, yo, son, yo, check your pants? You gonna get mad at me? Or would you respect me for giving you the truth? See, some people can't handle the truth because they feel as though the truth is disrespectful. And it isn't. It's just genuine, honest sincerity towards whatever it is it's towards. So I'm going to tell you, yo, son, your pants are shitty. You might not like the delivery on how I say it, but the bottom line is the bottom line. Nigga, you got shit, and we could see it through the back of your pants. And so with that being said, what I'm going to say is, Jennifer, you dropped the ball. And that ball that was dropped with the loss for R.Kelly, with the loss for Bill Cosby, is a reflection of what is to come with R.Kelly. See, understand something. I don't know how that jury came to the conclusion that it came to, but what I do know is with the people who champion lies, and understand what I'm saying, because of who I'm talking to are the people who claim greatness. That is a lie. Great does not lose. And if you lost a case from 30 years ago based on sexual whatever, and as a result, there was a verdict that says you owe $500,000 to someone from a crime that was committed that you have no proof, no DNA, no cum stains, no tapes, no video, no nothing, you are not great. What you are is human. With humanness comes vulnerability. You understand? And that should be a warning sign of what's to come with R.Kelly. Now, y'all don't want to hear that. I'm going to keep it the way Shabazz keeps it. I could care less what you want to hear. Because I've always stood for the truth. And that's just the truth of it. It ain't looking good for Kels. Not with that. You understand? Jennifer Bonjean won the legal case that she won because someone messed up and hid an agreement or a signature that was signed saying that Bill Cosby could not be prosecuted because he was a part of a civil case. His legal team fumbled that ball. Jennifer found out, and she found that ball, and she got it back. That wasn't great. That's not a knock at Jennifer. That's just what it was. You guys, because you're so far gone and so far R-Kelly'd out that you believe that, oh my God, this is what's happened, and she's great. Or she's taking his case because he doesn't have any money and this and that. But here's the reality of that. Whether she's getting paid, as some of you don't believe, or not, the name R.Kelly carries weight. So to have that on your resume, she ain't doing it for free. She's doing it because it's R.Kelly. But here's the underbelly of that. The underbelly of that says that you better win. Because now, the streak that you started off on is the streak that you will end up on. And based on her clients and what's to come, it's not looking good. She got R. Kelly coming up, and she got Larry Hoover. These are two of the hardest, most impossible cases to fight in the legal system. I've done work on both of those cases, so I know for sure. You can research and find out for yourself. Now, with that being said, to be optimistic, is there a chance that she can properly defend R. Kelly? There's no doubt about that. But what happens in the game, and I'm going to break it down from the legal perspective to the game. Once you tag lame, the game is over. You understand that? Like, I like to give my analogies based on real shit, real life. You were a bully or you were a champion. We're going to hypothetically make up a person that was a bully, or he could have been a champion. And because of him being a bully, everybody's scared. Because of him being a champion, everybody's scared. But it takes one little nobody ass nigga to win. Ain't nobody scared. You know why? Because that win translated into he is human and they can be beat. The problem with people is no one wants to take the chance to lose themselves. So in other words, you have some brothers who's nice with the tongue, right? And they can talk you out of the fight before you even get into the fight. And you know how they do that? They have these theatrics and they start screaming and talking loud and pounding on their chest. And as you're standing there arguing with them, you start to believe that this is King Kong based on the theatrics, when what you should do is the second pound go upside their head. You know, all of that, I'm this and I'm that. As soon as the I'm and the that get ready to come out, I'm popped in the mouth. And that would eliminate a lot of things with a lot of people Trust me on that. But what happens is psychologically, you are talked out of winning. It is a psychological warfare. And it is done every day in the hood. That's just real shit. It even happens in relationships. Whoever screams the loudest and pounds their chest the loudest is the one who usually runs that house. Sometimes it doesn't even dictate who has the money. But normally, the person who comes in with the finances is the person who bangs on their chest. The person who allows that to happen either has no place else to go or doesn't believe that they can make it without the person pounding on their chest. And the reality of it is shorty, you can. Fuck that nigga. Fuck that nigga car. Fuck that nigga house. Fuck that nigga money. Yo, go get your own. And as long as you allow somebody to play you and talk to you like that, you are going to stay exactly where you're at because that is mental abuse. Psychological. That's some pimp shit. You dig? So I am running the parallel with that with Jennifer. She came in powerful because she fumbled and stumbled upon something that no one else seen or thought about, which was an agreement that Bill Cosby had prior to her even coming in the case. And when she found that, she got it. Bang, I got him. You know what she should have did, in my humble opinion? She should have ran. And I wouldn't have took no more cases. You know why? Because now with that win, you become a target. Understand the game, yo. See, there's rules to this shit, and niggas don't be respecting them, and they don't understand it. But I understand the game, because I play on both sides. I'm a nigga that came from the streets, and I'm a nigga that sat in corporate boardrooms. That don't make me better than nobody, but I can tell you that I've seen both sides. And sometimes you got to take the win and run, because if you don't, when they put that target on your back, they are going to come with arrows, bullets, swords, knives, words, rocks, bricks, anything they can. You know why? Because you are a winner and everybody wants to win. What way and what better way than to take the shortcut of to just beat the winner's ass by cheating? Hit him upside his head with a brick. He don't even got to see it coming. You sneak him. It doesn't matter how you do it. As long as that person, that incident, or that thing is laying on the floor and you're still standing, you will be declared the winner. Jennifer Bonjean was declared the winner with Bill Cosby. As a result, she got R.Kelly. As a result, she got Larry Hoover. Now that win is tarnished. You understand? So now she's human. Because that loss speaks more volumes than the win did. Because you lost in a case that was 34 or 40, however many years old. And the man got to pay. So now, you don't think courts are sitting there watching that? You don't think district attorneys are sitting back watching that? You don't think the feds are sitting there watching that? I gotta. So now you're not coming in as a winner, armored up, shielded up. You're coming off of a loss. And you're coming off of a loss with the hardest case that you will ever fight in your life. And that's R.Kelly. And then next is Larry Hoover. Does that mean I don't like Jennifer Bonjean? Not at all. As I said before, and other people interpreted it and took it the wrong way or took it however, and I don't care how you took it, to be totally honest with you, but I'm going to say what it is. Does that mean that we can't be friends? If you can't accept my truth, then we can't be friends. But I could still be your friend because a flaw or a fault is just that, a flaw or a fault. But that shouldn't supersede friendship, because friends don't let friends drive drunk. Now, do they? Isn't that what white America pushed on us in those commercials? So why should friends lie to other friends? Because sometimes you need somebody to tell you. Sometimes you need somebody to make you think so you can know how to move for the next one, because everybody doesn't understand this simple theory. I can see things in you that you do not see in yourself, no matter how much you stare in that mirror. And you can see things in me that I don't see in myself. The game is the game, y'all. I keep telling y'all that. I can't stress that enough. So with that being said, after Bill Cosby lost, now we're getting ready to move into R. Kelly, and he's getting ready to be sentenced within the next, week or two? Yo, son, shorty, listen. prepare. You know what I mean? Like prepare either way. Don't be surprised. And what you need to know is if you are so far gone that you are pro this or pro that, whichever way, don't be so far gone on either side that you cannot see the forest for the trees, because the impossible and improbable can probably happen on either side. And that's the sad thing about it. But the good thing about this is R. Kelly's music, I believe, will always live forever. I think we're going through a spaz or whatever, we're going through a time where the music industry and people's thoughts and beliefs have changed. It's a fad, and it just hasn't reached Black America. And I don't like to say things to, appear to be racist, but I just got to say what it is. And a lot of people don't understand that about Shabazz. They feel like, I might say this, or I might say that. Nah, dog, I'm just saying what it is. And at the end of the day, America is still racist, very racist, and is very racist against Black Americans. And the reason why I'll say that is because you are premiering America and white people, which I've seen on the news, both in New York and in Chicago, because I've been to both places within the last 10 days. Everybody's championing and loving Elvis Presley. If Elvis Presley is not the poster boy of sleeping with young girls, I don't know who in the hell is. But America is championing that. And on the flip side of it, they're crucifying R. Kelly. How can it not be racist? I came in this game trying to tell y'all the rules of engagement. Nobody wanted to listen to that. But look what America is showing you. How can you deny it? It's right there in your face. On one hand, we are going to catapult this white man who's done some of the things that R. Kelly is being charged with, and put him on a plateau. And on the other hand, we're going to take the Black man and we're going to crucify him, because there ain't no mute Elvis. There ain't no Elvis disappear. There ain't no Elvis looking at life. Elvis, unfortunately, has passed and his time has gone on, but his legacy continues to live and thrive in America. And I'm not telling y'all nothing you don't know, but I show you that to say and show you that's just how the game go, yo. This is why it is very, very important who we crucify and who we don't. You cannot have selective justice. And although there might be people who really feel R. Kelly is guilty, I get it. There might be people who's fighting saying he isn't. I get it. There might be people who says, well, he's guilty and we know it, but they have him on the wrong charges. They should have came with something else. I get it all. I hear what both sides are saying, but within those both sides, we have done what we have done to ourselves, because we have championed and elected to pick R. Kelly to crucify, regardless to whether you think he deserves it or not. And the reason why that was dangerous is because those who we pick to crucify is a self-reflection upon us. You understand? You are picking someone and something that looks as similar to you in the mirror. Meanwhile, we're just letting white America get right on by. And you know what they look back at us and say? They laugh. Ha ha. You crucify each other. There's things that's on Facebook and there's things on Instagram and Twitter. And one of the things, I guess it's a meme, and it says there have been more blacks killed by blacks than the Ku Klux Klan has ever killed blacks. And that shit is terribly true. Sad. But we always running up talking this white man shit. That's some bullshit. I'm not racist. I'm going to tell you what it is. And white men and the Ku Klux Klan have not done anywhere near the damage that we have done to ourselves. And when we get on a goal and we get on a path and we start to believe that this is what it is, that's how we get shortchanged. And I hear you when you say, I want R. Kelly locked up. I hear you. But I want you to hear me. You have to come correct. And you have to be willing to fight the fight against R. Kelly the same way against Elvis Presley. There can't be a switch up because, okay, we get R. Kelly. We got him locked up. That is a win for who? Who is it a win for? Because I hear people say these little girls are, now they're protected and we're this and we're that. How is that a win? The man is going to be in jail. How is it a win for the people that think that way about R. Kelly, but yet we have someone who has the similar charges and he is now an icon? You don't think that's telling white America that it's all right to rape little girls or marry them at 14, 15, 16, whatever it is? Because that's what you're saying. What you're saying with that story is it's okay to be criminalized. It's okay to have done immoral and unethical things. But at the end of the day, you are still going to be what? Our hero. Elvis was racist. Public Enemy told y'all that back in the day. John Wayne was racist. Before we had social media and we had understandings of whatever, these people that we idolized and we watched on Saturdays and Sundays and listened to their music were racist. They did not love or like black people. And some of them even stole from us. But those are the things that happened in the past. With time, we've evolved. We've learned to overcome. But it does not mean that it did not happen. And it does not mean that that mentality is still strong in America. Trump and his mentality and his beliefs are strong in America. As a result of Trump, this era, as a result of Trump, is the most racist, vocal, blatantly open amount of people that there is. Because today, when someone feels a way about you, they don't whisper that shit. They just come straight out and say it, and they'll say it in front of everybody, and they do not care. And I feel like those who don't care and condone that, you are just as racist and as bad as them. But we didn't see that type of behavior and that type of blatant racism until Trump came along. So it doesn't matter if he's in office or not, because he's just like Elvis. Elvis is dead, but he left a legacy and a mentality that is still carried by the American people. Trump is no longer president, but his racism and his ways and his thought process is still lived and thought by millions of Americans. And as a result, the backlash is what it is today. It's Asian hate. It's black hate. It's Latino hate. It's hate everywhere you turn. There's an underlying to it. And if you guys don't pay attention to that kind of shit, Lord help us. Lord help us. And just like as I said, when I named precedence, it was going to set a precedence, and it has. Part of that precedence is you now look in the rap world. They're using those lyrics against those people, i.e. Young Thug. Like, everybody knows that rap is exaggerated. Everybody knows that them niggas be lying. Half them niggas ain't never sold no bricks. Half them niggas ain't get past ounces. They were sneaker hustlers. And the money that they was making, you know how they really get on, right? We know how it is. White America turns their eyes to it, but we know how it is because I've been there. Niggas is on the corner doing whatever they doing. Once they get the money, they go take it to a studio and pay for studio time and submit them albums. A lot of them get lucky. Now you don't even have to get lucky. You could just upload it to SoundCloud, Apple Music, Spotify, wherever else, and you can get on. Right? But we know that 90% of these niggas is lying. But look what white America is saying. Lie or not, nigga, you said it, now we gonna make you live by that. You understand? And we gonna hit you with laws that we used to hold exclusively for gangsters and mobsters, which is Rico. But because we got away with it with R. Kelly, because we presented it with R. Kelly, regardless to whatever you feel the reason was, whether it was the amount of time or it was a loophole to get him for something that happened back a long time ago, it was still used. So if it was used, now people are familiar with it. And what does familiarity bring? Familiarity brings you're aware. So now when you hear it again, you've heard it before. So the sting doesn't hit you as much. So if it's believed that R. Kelly can get hit with a Rico, be found guilty and get life in prison, shit, Young Thugger and whoever else, they don't stand a chance. And you got to ask yourself, who opened up the window? Who let the dogs in? Us. But at the time of us doing it, we don't think that far. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't think that far. We want instant gratification, and we do not care about the backlash because we can't see it. But I've seen it. And we're living in it now. And the only good thing that I think that's going to happen with the R. Kelly is that his music will forever be remembered. And I think we're going to get out of the fad to where it can be reversed with years to come. And he may one day be an icon. I don't know if he'll be an American icon. It's going to take time for that to happen. But I know that there will be the music. And I also know another thing. There will always be the conversation of R. Kelly. There will always be the debate of R. Kelly. This topic is going to be a topic that reaches our children's children. They may not know the politics or the ins and outs of it, but they're going to remember what their mama was talking about, because that's how it is right now. The kids that are kids today only know about R. Kelly because their parents listened to R. Kelly. And that's how it goes on and spills on and on. So it is going to be a conversation. And because I know it's going to be a conversation, it made me reminisce for a minute. And it made me reminisce back to when I first put together a trailer for R. Kelly. So I'm going to let you guys see that just to take you back for a minute. Make you remember some things and maybe wonder if some of the questions that are asked are still relevant. And I believe the conversation is always going to be relevant, and it's going to definitely be relevant now because he is about to face a terrible decision. And after that decision, he is about to be brought up in Chicago, and the decisions will be worse. And now he is at a disadvantage. He is crippled. And some might say he's crippled himself, and so be it. Some might say it's karma, and so be it. Whatever it is, we need to all agree that he will be crippled. And guess what? Guess what? Jennifer Bonjean is at the forefront of that. And just like I told y'all before, she ain't great. And for any person who comes back and says she's this and she's that, you ask or you answer this one question. If she was what you said she is, how come she lost Bill Cosby? And if you can answer that question, then you need to also be able to say or understand that once you tag lame, the game is follow the leader. Because somebody in Chicago and that judge in New York has seen that, oh, JB has been taking off of her high chair. Then they erased her from the white horse. Now they're going to get you. Let me just tell you a quick one, right? Let me tell you how it is in prison. And it's like this in the streets too. Do you understand that in prison, there are people who sit back and wait for people to get sick? And what I mean is you might break your ankle, playing basketball, or you can get pneumonia or whatever. And the person and the people that they wait for sometimes, they know that when the person is at 100%, they can't really mess with them physically, mentally, no kind of way. So what they do is they just sit back and wait until you have an ailment, right? Or you've broken a limb, right? And then they attack you because now you're weak. It's the same thing in the street. If you get money in the street and you walking down the street every day on your 2 feet, a nigga might think twice before he tests you. But get a cane and walk down that same street and be that same nigga getting money. As a result of you walking around with that cane, you are now perceived, looked at, and understood as being weak. And then that's when the wolves come in to get you. In the animal kingdom, they all swarm the shortest, youngest animal. They go after the babies. Tigers go after, baby goats. Or they go after, whatever is a baby elephant. They won't mess with the big ones. But if that big elephant is laying in the ditch or if his leg is broke, now he's fair game because they look at him now with him being hurt as being equal. Jennifer Bonjean is hurt. Bottom line. That mentality of greatness is tested. Bottom line. But who is going to pay for that? First up, R.Kelly. Believe what you want to believe, y'all. Take this and say whatever you want to say. Man, listen, I don't care. I'm looking from the outside in, and I'm telling you. And I'm also looking from the inside out, because I've been on both sides, and I know what it is. Take a look at this trailer. Reflect. Ask yourself some questions.
1 to 10, how hard is this case? It's a 12.
We want blood. We want it now.
I believe he's guilty. I also believe that hurt people hurt people.
It's actually because of his fame that he's been protected for as long as he has been.
I'm a professional female, and the Me Too movement is ruining my life.
Being black and a woman in America in and of itself can be seen as an obstacle.
Did he really do all this stuff? Is he really a predator or a monster like they're saying?
He acts the same way as his father did.
I have dyslexia, bro. I don't even know how to read, spell, or write, or do math.
The parents have some culpability in it.
That's the only thing. I mean, when you got a black father, that means so much. There's a lot of families that don't have their father. Having a father is definitely important for a young black man.
If he died, motherfucker killed him, that ain't you ain't healing nobody. We know that from our hoods.
He was one of America's most celebrated singers, working with some of the most talented people in the music industry. His list of credits with artists included Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, Celine Dion, Lady Gaga, Jay-Z, Kanye West, Mary J. Blige, and many more. His songs have both sexualized some as well as inspirationalized others. But within those songs were messages that left thought and interpretation dependent on the listener, as most great songs do. With titles that would inspire you to believe you could fly, and titles that would also give you permission to be feeling on your booty. Kelly's songs all seem to have their own personalities, telling stories within a story that oftentimes push the envelope and barriers of a sexual revolution. Delightful, yet different. Definitely deliberate, combined with a past that released him of his troubled confines.
My mind's telling me no, but my body's telling me yes. Baby, I don't want to hurt nobody, but there is something that I must confess.
He has one of the most recognizable voices in music, with talents that are as undeniable as any man's demons, that run parallel with musical genius. The opinions versus the facts, the truths versus the lies, and the makeups of remarkable to repulsive. R.Kelly, born Robert Sylvester Kelly, entered this world on January 8, 1967. The 60s were trying times, especially for black people. there was always relevant questions about race, freedom, equality, and justice. It was also a time that seen a black revolution that screamed being black and proud. With an undertone that really promoted being poor and sometimes promiscuous. However, not all black families experienced that behavior. There was still an overwhelming majority who believed in the principles of matrimony, getting together and staying married to raise a family together. According to the 1965 issued Monahan Report, only 25% of children were born out of wedlock. But as the years passed, those numbers increased dramatically. One of the studied reasons was the introduction of welfare, government assistance. What was supposed to be created to help actually forced fathers out of the home. The man of the house rule black men took pride in actually hurt the house because the government assistance dictated that a man's presence would only get a household little to no benefits at all. This in turn caused black men to leave in order for their families to continue to receive those government-issued funds. However, these actions were recognized as wrong by the Supreme Court, and in 1968, with the case of King v. Smith, the courts ruled against the government's rules and abolished those practices. Unfortunately, by that time, the black family had been decimated and dominated with Papa was a Rolling Stone. This is what created not just Kelly, but millions of black men for that time. Fatherless households, and for those who were lucky, they knowingly and unknowingly shared a father.
I'm Cassandra Kelly, sister of Robert Kelly.
I'm Lisa Kelly. I'm Robert Kelly's sister on his father's side.
My dad was a contractor. He was a pastor as well as an ex-vet. He had his hardships in life and, he didn't deal with those demons, and so therefore we had to go through a lot as children because he had those unsettled issues within.
My mom, they were together for a while, but it was a lot of things that I feel like my mother shouldn't have had to take.
He would drink, and when he got drunk, he would be abusive to our mother. It happened quite often, and to see that kind of thing happen as a child is kind of scary. For example, me, it was hard for me in school because I'm thinking, oh my gosh, when I get home, my mom, she's gonna be dead. He used to beat her.
As I started growing up and becoming an adult, I realized he had a secret. Keeping that family secret is one of the main reasons. He had an alcoholic problem. So my mom, she had to be the one to take the blows for that. And that secret was he had Robert. He was holding this secret that I have a son and I want to be with, and then everybody knew but us, but he was holding that to himself whenever he would get drunk. That's all he talked about.
I know within my heart he loved them. He wept for Robert. He did. He wept and was like, I wish I could have my son with me. I wish I could bring my son. I wish I could bring my son. He said it so many times, I can still hear his voice in my head.
We had family reunions. Our family reunions consisted of his mother bringing him. It's been times where, not just the family reunions, my dad would just hand me the phone. He'd talk to your cousin Robert. That's how he was. He'd just automatically put us on the spot. Talk to, this person, talk. So one particular time, He said, talk to your cousin Robert. As I got older, and I would ask, he never would just be honest and tell the truth while he was still here. My cousin, she confirmed and just came clean, and then when she came clean, her brother came clean. So I went and talked to my older cousin that knew the whole situation. And then he told us the truth. That's not your cousin, that's your brother.
So we finally got in contact with him. Lisa and I, we flew out to Chicago. One of the first things that he asked about, did he ask about me? That thing hurt me so bad because he deserved to have that. It affects you in some kind of way, not having a family unit, and especially a son not having that father figure. He deserved that, but he was robbed of that.
If the truth would have came out back then, I feel like we would have had a better life. My father, he acts exactly the same way Robert does. When I saw him walk into that courtroom the first time, I couldn't help but I had to hold myself because it's like I'm seeing Dad in the flesh again. The way he handles himself the exact same way his father is. Exact same way. And then on top of that, a lot of things start coming to me because my father had a great business, but he didn't read his contracts. He couldn't read his contracts. As I got older, I worked with him in the family business, and he got ripped off a lot because he didn't read his contracts prior to me, and I would try to pick up the pieces. He would just do things on the whim, make investments on the whim, and that's it. A lot of my father's ways have manifested. A lot of them.
He had a very good mind, very wise man, but a broken man. A broken man that did not get the correct help that he needed in his life and was broken. And unfortunately, like I said, he didn't get the help that he needed.
That shit is deep, right? Like the implications of what's being said is definitely thought-provoking. Now, I know there's going to be those who are going to say those are not his sisters and blase, blase. And I think I've responded to that quite a few times. And my official response to that was R.Kelly accepted him. He accepted them as being who they said they were. So who am I to question that? Like, I believe everything that has happened is just historic. And the question is, which side of history do you want to be on? You know, and I think sometimes in the YouTube community, I don't even think it's looked at as which side of history you want to be on. I think it's which side of the fight do you want to be on? Because within these fights, they become personal. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, whether you're for R. Kelly or against R. Kelly, I think when you start to personally attack people, it's gone too far. You went too deep. And I've done it. I'm guilty of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I can only speak for myself. When you say the things that you say, sometimes you have to look at yourself and be honest. And I'm always going to stand on top of honesty. If you can't be honest with yourself, then who can you be honest with? And most of us, we can't be honest with ourselves, you know, because this group is attacking that group and that group is attacking this group, and it is all over your passion, either side, pro or con, for R. Kelly. And sometimes in the midst of a heated debate, battle, or war, you have to stop back and reflect. And what that means is the best way I can describe, and a lot of times I give descriptions based on my personal experiences because these were the things that changed my life. You understand? So whatever crime you commit, if you land up in jail, there is going to be a day when you are going to reflect every instant of whatever you're locked up for, second by second. and you are going to come to a conclusion. And the conclusion 9 times out of 10 will be, I shouldn't have did that. I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have pulled that trigger. It wasn't worth it. But it's too late. What's done has been done. And those type of actions come as a result of the passion you have towards whatever it is you're fighting for. I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like we start taking shots. I get it. But at the end of the day, it's a bigger picture for all of us than just this, because whether you realize it or not, what happens today can happen to you tomorrow. But we never look forward or think about our tomorrows. We just think about today. There are some exceptions where I think that sometimes people go too far. You know, I've had my disputes on YouTube with people, but I don't let it, not let me get sleep. I think the worst, I've said it before, was, I don't like Larry telling me that he put the feds on me. But at the end of the day, he's so far gone into his passion and to what he thinks or believes is right, that that's what he said. I don't know if in honesty, like on some real nigga shit, you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you just got to sit down and you got to let it out and be real and be honest and ask yourself, yo, did I even mean to say that? Do I realize what I said? Do I realize what I did? Like, and if you feel comfortable with that, then so be it. And that's not just to him. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the rest of you dudes. I've been, I've read. I haven't been in the bushes because I literally have not been on YouTube at all. In fact, I've erased all of R.Kelly because I have other projects going on. And contrary to what you guys believe that, he's trying to make money off of R.Kelly, nobody in the industry wants anything to do with R.Kelly, not on a professional level. So if you have something going on and you are running around R.Kelly, you are jeopardizing whatever it is you're trying to put out, because they frown seriously upon R. Kelly. That's just the truth. And I felt like if I stuck my neck out, like, yo, R. Kelly's conversation is not going to compromise my project. And if you can't deal with me because I covered a story, then don't deal with me at all. But I had to step back for a minute, and not as a result from pressure from the industry, because hear me clear when I say this. I could give less than a damn about what they think. Like, you better remember this. I came in this game pro-black. I don't care if I'm beefing with a black man. I'm going to take that black man's side before I take anybody else's. What I will do is chastise or discipline or fight with that black man behind closed doors. But when we open up that door, we are going to be unified and we are going to fight together. That is the only way anything is going to change. However, when there's so much turmoil amongst the same black people, you step back and you look and you say, damn, what am I fighting for? Because these niggas don't even get it. That's what this shit'll make you do. It'll make you just say, yo, you know what? I'm done with that shit, because it's too much headache. And then at the end of the day, nobody really wants to address the core. And a lot of the core and a lot of the things that you hear and you see are people's inner personalized feelings. They've interpersonalized R. Kelly into themselves. And be it whether it is for him or against him, yo, son, it's too much. And at the end of the day, I am not going to make $1 or lose $1 either way. If he gets life, I don't make no money. I don't lose no money. But as black people, somewhere along in that line, we are going to lose something. Even if the so-called victims come out, they are going to get vindication for whatever they're claiming was done. Sometimes you need closure. You break up with somebody, you don't know why. Okay, I can accept the breakup, but tell me why. Some people will say, I don't give a damn why the nigga left or she left or whatever. Nah, you know what I'm saying? Because that's pride talking. That's for everybody else to see talking. But I ain't talking that talk. You understand? I'm human. Yo, shorty, I want to know. Not that it's going to change the direction or the outcome, but it's just closure. I want to know my mistakes. When you're young and you think, fuck your mistakes and fuck that bitch and fuck that nigga, Yeah, all that's well and done. But when you get to a certain age, like grown folks, yeah, all that shit is important because you cannot make a decision to decide for someone else if you cannot make a decision to side for yourself. And I sincerely believe that this entire ordeal is a reflection of real life. And the reason why it is such a debated topic is because people can interject themselves into what's being done, be it wrong or right, and interpersonalize it into their own lives. So sometimes when you watch and you listen to what people say and how they approach it, you know exactly who that person is. The shit is deep, son. You got to really just listen and just look. And although they may be talking about one conversation and the conversation may be R.Kelly, they are talking for themselves. And what they say is a reflection of them. And either way, you better believe what you hear and what you see will come out on you. You understand? There are people who are trained. They are called behavioral scientists. Or psychologists in a layman's term. And they can read all of that. It's like sometimes we go to a job and you put on your best suit. You know, a woman puts on her, makeup and her, her best clothes, whatever it is, right? And 5 minutes into the interview, we'll get back to you. That person has been trained in human behavior. One of the human behaviors that I see us always, fall short with is, we go to court. We're fighting for our lives. And black men today, they run it in the courtroom with a white shirt, a t-shirt, and jeans. I went to a graduation 3 months ago. I was the only man in there with a suit on. The auditorium held 1,000 people. There was one person in the auditorium with a suit. And I said to myself, yo, Shabazz, what has happened to our people? Like, where have we gone? Like, what happened to morals and principles and ethics and pride within yourself? These niggas was running around in there with t-shirts on and shorts and a fresh pair of Air Ones. And this is somebody's graduation. This is somebody that you love. This is someone who has made an achievement to graduate from high school. You don't think that dictates that you go and represent the best way you know how? You don't believe that your life has a value that should say to a judge, I have on a shirt and a tie, Your Honor. I'm not in a $2 white tee. Like, you don't even see people dressed for church anymore. Niggas is going in church with their pants off their ass. For what? The style, the fad. And what we're saying is we're moving for today, right? But let me tell you something about today. Today is always going to be a reflection of tomorrow because they are going to remember when. It's like I've seen you in a problem before and I've seen how you handle it. You handled it like a low budget, 2-bit, dumbass nigga. Why should I respect you? That is the general consensus in mainstream America. And a lot of us don't get it. You'll see a shorty go for a job, and instead of her going for a job in the loosest clothes she can or a nice suit, she goes in with a form-fitting dress that's the club dress, and she's going to get a job. Who's going to hire you like that and respect you to do the job? You might get the job based on lust and the eventuality of the man trying to sleep with you. And today, it's not just the man trying to sleep with you because the woman might want to be trying to sleep with you. And you didn't get hired for credibility of typing 60 words per minute. You got hired because your ass is sticking out in that dress or your titties is being seen in that dress in somebody's face. And sometimes we try to use that to our advantage to make it happen and then wonder why we are not respected. That's why. And I know that shit sound like some shit our mama say, but the thing about that is we all eventually become our mamas. We all eventually become what we detested and didn't listen to when it was our time. So it's not, rocket science to understand why these young dudes don't listen to us because we didn't listen to our parents. It's a repetitive cycle that goes on and on and on. And in between that repetitive cycle, we have stories of Elvis. We have stories of Sam Cooke. We have stories of R.Kelly. We have stories of Marvin Gaye. We have stories of Michael Jackson that are interjected in between those times, and they always end up the same way. It's the same as in my magazine, and I don't like to say it, but the truth of it is I have black men who are brilliant in the streets, and 99% of them get to talk to me from a cell or a legendary story because they're past. There are no different endings. There's no different ways. It's just basically the same shit with a different name attached to it. Everybody remembers Scarface when Scarface says, say hello to my little friend. But nobody remembers at the end of that shit, he was in a pool face down, dead. And we will take our chances to say hello to my little friend. And don't give a fuck about being dead. That's what we got to change, yo. Sometimes I know you feel like this nigga just be talking. Or sometimes, I could flip. I be on some talking shit. But at the end of the day, my core is my people. And my core is my people because my people are my children. My people are other young men. My people are men that have to walk down the street, and I do not want them to go through what I went through. I sold drugs so they don't have to. You understand? I did illegal shit so they can have a better life. I ain't give a fuck about no female and no this. But at the time, in honesty, I did as it was happening. But in hindsight, that's not what the purpose was. That's real nigga shit. You do what you have to so the loved ones that you have, they don't have to. And when you really are advanced and you really have seen some shit, you do what you do so nobody else has to go through that shit. Because if we do that, we could prevent a lot of the shit that happens. But nobody ever thinks about that shit because everybody be on me. It's self. But I'm going to tell you this, though. Other nationalities, they pass down their beliefs for fucking generations. You understand? And they live by a code. I could take you into neighborhoods right now and white people don't even know each other, but there are certain things that just none of them are going to do for the betterment of white America. And you can hit me with the racist shit. I don't give a damn about hearing none of that. You have a right to your opinion and I have a right to mine. But I'm here and I see it. You can't tell me what's not if you ain't been there. Well, a lot of y'all ain't even been in an R.Kelly situation and not even close because you ain't been in jail. You ain't had the feds on your ass. You ain't have them people. R.Kelly's case has, informants. R.Kelly's case has snitches. R.Kelly's case has, liars. But R.Kelly's case also has those who tell the truth. The hard part of understanding all of this is y'all don't want to acknowledge those that tell the truth. And that within itself is a problem. Yo, let's pick it up. I sincerely missed y'all, yo. I'll be back. I know some people might think, Elvis Shabazz got chased off of YouTube or, he had this, that. Yo, listen, let people say whatever they're going to say. I'm so far past that point, right? I don't even care about that. Like, if it ain't bringing me a check, yo, you could talk to you blue in the face because I'm going to do what I'm going to do, regardless to whoever. That's just how the game is going to go. And I respect the game. Always have and always will. Bottom line. With that being said, yo, you could have been anywhere listening to anybody else's podcast, watching a whole bunch of other stuff. You could have been listening to transcripts, or you could have been amused by, watching the commentaries down, watching the people coming at each other. All that shit is funny to me, but the seriousness of it is, yo, for real, we all black, yo. And whether you want to accept this or not, we are all a reflection of each other. If we don't saddle up, strap up, and come together, we are going to be fucked up. Bottom line. I'm not trying to be fucked up, son. And I hope you not either. Until next time, hold it down. Have a nice day.